on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Purple Daily, Monday, so it's Zolgad and Declan Goff. Comments from YouTube, as you just heard, presented by our friends at Surly Brewing. I'm going to tell you at some point in time very soon all about a Surly beer that I am into. It is delicious. And also by TCL TV. Enjoy more with TCL. If you're not watching sports on TCL, you're doing it wrong because it's fantastic. TCLs are great. And we certainly appreciate their long-term partnership with us here at Score North. All right, Declan, the floor is yours. Comments from YouTube.
All right, comments from YouTube. If you'd like your question answered on a comments edition, we do feedback episodes twice a week on Purple Daily. We do them on Mondays, do them on Saturdays. So if you'd like your question answered, drop a comment in our YouTube comments section. Reach out to us on the Score North app. There's plenty of options at your disposal. So give us a shout.
Love it.
All right, Judd, a decent amount of comments all over the board here. Some Adam Thielen comments, some Lewis Seen comments. But I'm going to start with our guy, Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Because a lot of people saw the rating of him being 16th on Chris Sims' quarterback rating, so I feel like this is a good place to start. The Legend 27 says, would I see it where most have Kirk at 12 to 15 range? Is that where you prefer to have him? Mm-hmm. Kirk is a pocket passer, makes the right, accurate first choice decision, minimum mistakes. Or would you rather have Carr, an accurate, reckless, not afraid to throw a ball somewhere that is off schedule? So if Kirk is your choice, he would be higher than Carr because you wouldn't want that style of QB, but both QBs are pretty good. I like this because
very fair.
The fun part is
well thought out.
When we always talk about these quarterback rankings, and that's why I always agree when people put Kirk Cousins in his own tier, which I have seen. Mm-hmm. Kirk and Derek Carr belong in the same tier. And you can split all the hairs you want on if one of them is better than the other. If you gave me an option, I would probably take Derek Carr, but I don't know if that necessarily raises my ceiling a little bit more in my team. I like Carr's contract better. I think his intangibles are a little bit better, but he's right. He can shipwreck a game more than Kirk Cousins can. What are your kind of thoughts on Derek Carr versus Kirk Cousins?
Well, first of all, I want to see the Kirk Cousins that's going to play for O'Connell because, I mean, is it going to be different? If it is, that's fantastic. Right now, if I had a game that I had to win, I'm taking Carr. Okay. I don't love him, too. To be very clear, there are things about him that bother me. But that being said, that note is absolutely correct. Carr has a gene that Kirk will not use. And there are times, especially in important games, where you have to be willing to make a mistake because it can pay off so much. I'm not saying recklessly stupid, but Kirk is so, or up until now at least, has been so risk adverse that he won't make plays in key moments at times that he has to make. So I'm going with Carr. But I think that note is a perfect encapsulation
of both of them.
And how I think, at least I personally feel about Kirk. Because dude's got talent, man. He's got talent. Again, to go back to what we talked about with Phil today, Dex, on PD. You know, when you look at Kirk Cousins, my problems with him for a huge part have nothing to do with what he can do physically. He can't really run, but okay. There's a lot of guys that can't. Right. I'm not going to be then he shouldn't play. My issues with Kirk come back to, can he be tricked up to mentally process things in a way that's going to allow you to consistently win games that have adversity? But yeah, I have never thought, Kirk can't throw. Kirk can throw. Kirk can throw a deep ball. That's beautiful. Now the question is, will he throw it enough? And my answer to date as a Viking has been not consistently. But if Kevin O'Connell can maximize the athletic, God-given ability that resides in Cousins' arm, I will definitely be singing a different tune in 6 months. That fair?
Yeah, it is. And look, what I like about Carr is he's a little bit more of a better leader. His teammates seem to love him a little bit more. He's not afraid to stick his neck out a little bit more.
No, he's not at all.
Which I like. And the contract, dude, so he has an opt-out. There's a potential out here after this year, but he's only under cap for $19 million this year.
Yep.
And next year, if they want to
That's a
get
good
out,
point.
it's only $5 million. So, like, if Josh McDaniels or the Raiders organization, I should say, wants to bail, they can bail. But I like Carr. But look, he's right. Kirk Cousins' floor is where it is, and Carr can shipwreck a game quicker. So that's the best part about QB rankings, man. Like they're fun to talk about. Chris Sims also knows what he's talking about. I know there are like people.
Well, and he's also like purposely
he stirs
smart
the pot.
about it. Exactly.
He stirs the pot. He's a professional.
If I had to win a game tomorrow, and you gave me my choice, I'm taking Carr.
Yeah,
you?
I would take Carr. And
it's not by a lot, but I'm taking Carr.
No, not at all. Greg says, I think rating Kirk at 16 is a true gift. He hasn't done anything to prove to me that he rates that much higher. He has mastered one thing, and that is being the master at checkdowns on third downs. No one does it better. LMAO, hands down, the king of 3-and-outs. A little more harsher than we are on the Kirk Cousins comment there from Greg. But you know what? Let's play into the advocate a little bit of him being 16th and that being a gift, right? I do think he only can go up. Like, I think he would have to have a horrendous season. Something would have to go catastrophically wrong between the dynamic of him and Kevin O'Connell for him to dip lower than 16th, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
even because there's those second-year quarterbacks, those Lawrence, the Fields, the Zach Wilsons.
Sure.
Those guys have the ability to. So, like, there's more people below Kirk that could potentially be up into the top 16, right?
Yep.
But I think it would have to go catastrophically wrong for him to dip even lower than 16.
God, yeah, agree completely. And I think that when we have done this, you, me, and Phil, and put together these exact same type of lists, I think I usually have Kirk about 13 or 14. Like he's there. So like it's very close. I will say this though. If Kirk Cousins does not move up from 16, something has gone terribly wrong. So like if Chris Sims does these exact rankings in February, okay, and Kirk is 16, it has gone wrong.
Yeah.
So like he has to, like this is his chance to prove all of us wrong and to say, I've got my guy here. I've got my plays. I've got everything I need. Because he does, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is, I think 16's a bit low, but if he goes or if he stays there, you got big problems.
Totally. A couple Adam Thielen comments here. Let's start with this one from Dustin. He says, on the Thielen front, because we talked about Thielen on Saturday's episode, he said, on the Thielen front, I feel like he and everyone in his camp keeps saying that he is in the best shape of his life, so I wouldn't sleep on him playing the Cooper Kupp slot role. The Cooper Kupp slot role, he's saying that. I don't think he can, just up there in age, and yeah, he's battled so many injuries, but don't sleep on him being in that great role that Cooper Kupp mastered from the slot last year, too, with the Rams.
Well, first of all, yes, I think that he is going to have a key role here. So I'm not trying in any way to say that he is not going to be an important part of what O'Connell's going to do offensively. That being said, the Cooper Kupp comparison belongs to one guy. JJ.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson is the comp. And he will play in the slot. He will play outside. I think Thielen, at the end of the day, if things go incredibly well, I think he is going to catch a bunch of touchdowns and be a red zone threat consistently. And I think he should have a great year. But that being said, let's not confuse this. Just to be abundantly clear again. All right. The days of Thielen and Diggs or Jefferson and Thielen are gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jefferson, then Thielen.
I like
This
it.
is not a 1A, 1B. This is, and that's not a criticism of what Thielen brings. It is the praise of how good I think the Vikings know Justin Jefferson is going into his third year. He is going to be the Cooper Kupp.
Christoph says, regardless of the stats from Thielen, let's not forget that he was very much utilized in the red zone last year, and he still is a threat there. Yes, he is
100%.
He's Kirk's blankie in the red zone, and sometimes.
Well, and he's just good at it.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player.
He's good at it. Yeah, I don't want the fan base to think that I think he's going to be terrible. He's not. He's going to be, if he can, of course, and this is the most important thing, stay on the field. He's going to be an incredibly important part of what O'Connell's going to do. But Justin Jefferson is elite. Like, I don't know how to articulate this more than saying he is, to use PJ Fleck's word, he is elite. He is special. He is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. Thielen is not.
Yeah.
He's very productive and very good. But Justin Jefferson is in that, like, to me, top 5, which is all huge praise.
Speaking of receivers, Max says, write this down. The Vikings will have 3 1,000-yard receivers this year. I feel like
I could
it's
see
funny
two.
that
I don't see that because I think Cook is still going to be too important to have 3 of them.
Well, I think
and catch passes. Irv Smith too.
Yeah, and look, KJ Osborne had a great year last year. I'm just trying to let me pull this up here quick. I'm trying to see what he caught last year in terms of yards because obviously JJ should definitely go over 1,000. Thielen should still flirt with. I don't think he's a lock to go over 1,000, but he should still flirt with it.
And Cook should catch more passes.
How about this? KJ Osborne had 655 receiving yards last year, Joe. Would you take the over-under of 655 for KJ Osborne in 2022?
So Thielen would have to get hurt probably again just to be totally confident.
Yeah, maybe assuming, too, that
you know what?
These guys play 15 games, 16 games each, whatever.
Yeah. I think Cook's going to catch more passes. If Irv Smith, again, and this is the big if, can stay healthy, I'm going to take slightly under. I think it's going to be right around the same because the ball is going to be distributed differently.
Right.
And plus, keep in mind, Jefferson, the plan here, and all of these things are good, okay? So this is no, like, me being critical. I feel that must be made clear. Justin Jefferson is never going to be in a position to be forgotten. Like, his first 2 years have been phenomenal, right?
Yep.
Record setting. So it's been great. But there are definitely games, Detroit here, where he was taken out. The whole point of what the Vikings are installing offensively is to allow that to never happen. So, like, KJ Osborne became a default for passes that will now just go to Jefferson. That's what you do. This Cooper Kupp role is not just like a name. It is designing your offense to basically make the defense show you what they're doing. Clint Kubiak didn't do that.
No, he did not.
Didn't know how. So Justin Jefferson should be on the precipice of an unbelievable year. Unbelievable.
Transitioning, here's some other feedback. But first, let me tell you about my friends at Aquaside, Judd.
Yes.
I was up in Shell Lake, Wisconsin, and I see some comments in our YouTube section saying, "Oh, Dex tweets, you're in Shell Lake, Wisconsin. You got to hit us up and bring some Surly down with us." And I'm sure Judd can talk about that in just a little bit. But Aquaside, when I notice, I'm pretty sure that Shell Lake is an Aquaside lake because when I'm out on the pontoon, when I was out on the boat over the weekend, I could tell it. I could see the bottom of the shore that there was definitely no weeds there. There was no algae on that lake. And Aquaside has been a helper of Shell Lake and other lakes, removing those lake weeds with Aquaside pellets. They're a local company in White Bear Lake. Give them a call or go to aquaside.com. Their products are safe. They're easy to use. They're a DIY, but they're easy to use. Even I can use them, okay? I've seen them in action.
If you can use them,
anyone can use them.
Okay,
right?
all right, okay.
So go find them online. Check them out. Aquaside.com. It's aquaside.com to learn more. And yes, Judd, when I'm at the cabin, the gal's cabin too, I should say. It's not my cabin.
Oh, it's not your cabin.
It's not my cabin.
Okay, now the truth comes out.
And then that's where you should, by the way, just self-life lessons. Don't buy a cabin. Get your friend or your family or someone else to have a cabin and a boat so you don't have to deal with those things.
Never
you
buy
have
a
to
cabin.
reap the benefits.
I like
but when
that.
I was out there,
Love it.
when we were cruising on the lake, looking at that Aquaside Lake, Judd, I did have a Surly Supreme in my hand because it's the unofficial beer of summer for Dex.
Oh my gosh, yes. A Surly summer Declan Goff is the best thing possible, right? So I want to tell you about a new friend that I made on Friday.
Oh.
I made a new friend on Friday.
You don't make a lot of friends.
I don't make a lot of friends. I don't make a lot of friends. I'm not really a welcoming guy sometimes.
You're really not.
But I made a new friend on Friday. Because I walked into my local liquor store and I looked at a beer from, of course, our friends at Surly because my eyes do not wander. And I saw the Logic Bomb. And I thought, you know what this looks like? This looks like a Surly summer beer. This looks like a beer that's going to be refreshing and fantastic. And I'm going to tell you right now, Logic Bomb and I took the beer home and we bonded.
Oh, wow.
And that beer, and I am not, to be very clear, I am not cheating on Furious. I still love, Furious new, okay?
You love your Furious.
Furious is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't
But I'm going to tell you right now, and there are, as Dex just said, Surly's got a multitude of great beers. I suggest that as we draw closer to the weekend, that you yourself try the Logic Bomb and let me know what you think, because I thought it was fantastic. And then when you're drinking it, what I want you to do, Declan, what do I want people to do?
Show us your cans.
Exactly right.
Show us your
At Jay Zolgad on Twitter. And as always, appreciate all of those of you out there who the past 2 or 3 days showed us your cans, because it is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the summer of Surly. Logic Bomb.
Back to our comments from YouTube here. Dean says, I'm really excited to see Lewisine, Andrew Booth, and Asamoah excel. What are your thoughts? What rookies are you excited to see this season, and maybe even during minicamp this weekend, which you will be at?
Booth has been slowed quite a bit. He is not practicing really yet. He had surgery, I believe, and has been basically, and I think it's why he dropped. He's been sidelined. So I think he's going to be more of a training camp guy, and it's going to be more of an easing in there. And he could be very good. I don't know. But I'm just saying, don't expect a lot from him early in the season. Lewisine has been with the second team, Declan, almost exclusively.
Yep.
And that's the one I'm curious about. So it's been Smith and Bynum, which is fine. And when Smith was out with COVID in Baltimore, Bynum played really, really well. Impressed me. That being said, I think Scene is the guy, because I still contend, and I don't know that they're going to show this much, but I still contend there are going to be packages that have 3 safeties on the field, with Scene being one. And Scene's got a skill set that borders on a safety linebacker.
Yes.
And so I am excited to see him play a role that I think he could be incredibly productive at. I don't think the Vikings took Scene in the first round not to play him, but I also think that they're going to be careful not to force feed him too quickly. So opening day, I see him possibly being involved in a package of plays, maybe not starting yet.
Our friend Kevin Seifert on ESPN this afternoon posted that there could be an option where all 3 of them are on the field: Lewisine, Andrew Bynum, Harrison Smith. I think as we get closer to training camp,
I've been saying that.
And actually, I think our old buddy Judd Zolgad was.
I talk to Seifert all the time out there. I talk to him all the time.
On the record, off the record. Now he's stealing your scoops. Come on, Seifert.
Don't
Come
have
on,
to.
buddy. Come on, pal.
Off the record. There's no such thing with me, my man.
A couple more here before we wrap. I was asking some Vikings fans, Judd, over the weekend on Ventline how they felt about the offseason, and a couple more comments chimed in on this. And Bill says, until the Vikings get a center, they are going nowhere. And Too Evil, Too Hope says, until the Bradbury situation is fixed this offseason, the grade is just a solid C. I've asked you this, I think, before, but we always kind of changed it a little bit as the offseason draws on.
Sure.
What grade would you give the offseason with most of the moves, 95% of them, unless we get a surprise here being done? What grade would you give the offseason?
Incomplete. So I don't like I don't personally agree with what they're doing. Okay.
Yep.
But they've gone down this path, so it becomes intriguing. I think a C is fair. Because it's not a disaster.
Right.
It's personally not what I would have done, but it's not a disaster. But the Bradbury thing's a great point. And like right now, we are blindly assuming that the Vikings know what they're doing. And in my opinion, that's a guy that can't be changed. Like, I don't know how unless Kirk is going to help him out by delivering the ball quicker all the time or something, Dex. So I think a C is very fair. And look, I will say this. The Vikings have, smart or not, increased the expectations on themselves by basically blaming the previous coaching staff and bringing a lot of guys back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think a C, because it's not a D. They brought back some good players. I also think, though, that if there's one thing on offense I completely don't get, it's Bradbury. Like, of all the changes that you made, I don't understand. Like, right now, there's no competition there. And I guess Reed could come in and compete, sort of, but I really thought that would be one position just for Kirk's sake. Because you want to give Kirk every advantage possible that you would address more thoroughly, and they definitely did not agree with me.
Judd, I have one last comment for you. It's a Judd feedback, as I like to do. It's a little bit of a surprise, but before I get there, I just want to remind people, Brainerd International Raceway, they go up there on June 17th and 18th. The No Prep Kings are coming to the Brainerd Lakes area. Again, June 17th and 18th. It's Discovery Channel's Street Outlaws. The No Prep Kings is the newest series in the Street Outlaws franchise. It's going to be a fun, awesome environment. Cash money on the line for these drivers. And kids 12 and under get in free. Visit BIRMN.com. There's ticketing and even camping information there. Brainerd International Raceway. For more information, BIRMN.com. Shane says, Judd is a hell of a lot better these days, and keep up the great work, gentlemen. I always bring a little negative Judd spin to the end of the episode.
What have I changed?
I don't know. Shane says...
I got a note from a guy yesterday saying I'm worse now than I used to be.
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, that was on the Twins, so he said you've become much worse.
Interesting. Well, apparently, Shane says you're getting a lot better.
Am I improving as far as my skill set goes, or my takes more to his liking?
Your takes are about the same.
I don't think my skill set's changed much.
As an executive producer, I should be actively listening to obviously what you guys are saying all the time. But some things go to complete my head.
I wouldn't be if I was you.
But hey, Shane.
Okay, well, thank you, Shane.
And I just want a little positivity, a little different spin on comments.
Thank you, Shane. We appreciate that.
Well, not a positive.
That's very nice of you.
All right, Judd's going to be at minicamp this week.
Yes.
So some observations.
Tuesday and Wednesday we have practices. Thursday, no practice. Team building. The only question is, what are they doing to build chemistry?
All right, we'll be back full strength Tuesday. Purple Daily, hit the subscribe button for daily Minnesota Vikings entertainment.
Logic Bomb.